Yeah, I'd have to say this is probably the dream trip.
All you think when you think Middle East and Dubai and Saudi Arabia is desert, desert, desert.
Very rarely that you come to any riding spot and see that there's absolutely no tracks.
It's a dream to be able to ride somewhere else, and it's a privilege to even ride in a place like this.
I actually located a camel and started chasing it. I've never even seen a camel, and to be halfway around the world just scoping out new jumps is really a cool feeling to me. I almost feel like Christopher Columbus with my bike being the Mayflower.
Yeah, as far as like free riding and where free riding's been, this is for sure uncharted territory.
I'm not gonna lie, I expected the dunes to be big, but I got up on the highest peak over here and I was overwhelmed. I mean, as far as I could see, there was dunes.
We pretty much put every track around that you see out here, and I think that's cool.
I don't think anybody's ever at this caliber been able to come out and do the trick. Some of the locals that did get to see us, they're in awe. They're like, whoa, what's this,
You can't even point a finger at where it ends. And we're just out here hanging out, filming, riding our motorcycles, which is the dream itself.
It's the real deal, we're in the Middle East, halfway around the world from where I'm normally at. It's like history in the making, kind of.
Dubai, one of the 7 United Arab Emirates, located on the Persian Gulf, smack in the middle of the most controversial region of the earth. This surreal frontier is expanding faster, taller, and bigger than any other country on the planet. Billions beyond billions are being spent to create what some say will be the greatest city in the world. It started off as one sheik's dream, and today it has become the world's richest boomtown. The Riot team arrived in Dubai after a grueling 24-hour journey that flew them halfway around the world. Unlike any other dirt bike mecca on the planet, the crew were stunned by this bizarre landscape. The only friendly sight was a local Honda dealership, where 5 shiny new bikes awaited, fresh off the boat from Japan. 2 brand new CR250 2-strokes and 3 CRF 450 4-strokes, all fresh out of the box. Renner, being a factory KTM rider, would import his own machine from Europe, the orange 2-stroke KTM 250. The rules to Riot are simple. 3 days of competition will take place. Each session will be self-judged at the end of the day. There will be 5 riders, and at the end of the 3 days, the rider with the most points wins. With vehicles and trailers supplied by the Dubai Honda dealership, the crew prepared to exit this vastly crowded and somewhat psychedelic metropolis. The next stop would be the unknown. Following the directions from a few dirt biking locals, the crew drove into the endless Arabian desert. The first stop, number 53. Today's ride would only be a scout mission required to break in the brand new bikes. So after a stroll through a real Bedouin village and past the camel herd, the crew slithered to the edge of what might be the largest expanse of sand on the planet.
We strolled in here through like this old abandoned village full out of like war movies. Next thing you know, you're looking at the biggest set of dunes I've ever seen. And a million sweet looking lips, so nice little first impression.
It's like sand dunes, but it's kind of harder, which is good, so you don't land and blow off, stick, and do a swan dive off your bike.
Looks like that stuff that you think that, like Dakar or whatever.
Like we're in the very beginning.
You don't know where it is, but it looks really sick. We found it. It's cool.
5 unique riders were invited to compete in Riot 3, all of them with a solid free riding resume. Mike Mason has proved himself as a top rider in the sport by winning multiple medals at the X Games. He took 2nd place at Riot 2 and is looking to one-up it here in Dubai.
I think like a lot of us are in the same boat as you just think of this area as war, you know? I'm like, just so gnarly, you'd never even want to step foot in it unless you absolutely had to, but you come out here, it's cool, man. It's just laid back, cool little setting, you know? Checking out the world, riding motorcycles with my buddies.
Todd Potter, a trick-throwing machine and the only veteran of the past 2 Riots. No one has ever questioned his talent, but this game is much more than just tricks. He will need to step it up and huck the big gaps to have a chance at Riot 3. Jeremy Lusk is a part of the next wave of young talent in FMX. Hard-charging, determined, and most of all skilled. Lusk, a SoCal native, grew up riding in the well-known sand dunes of Glamis.
Like at Glamis, Razorbacks usually all go, one way. But out here, they're going every direction, so that was pretty gnarly to get used to. But we found some pretty big jumps out here, way bigger than I've ever jumped at Glamis, I think.
Ronnie Renner prides himself as a natural terrain rider, as he should. A longtime FMX professional, Renner is now looking to make a name in the sport as the free rider to beat.
You can come out here to the dunes and turn one corner and all of a sudden everything's set up completely different. You can go over one hump and everything changes. It's all about the weather, all about your creativity, and it always comes down to your balls too, how much of them you want to use.
Rounding out the field is OG Justin Homan, one of the original gangsters that started the entire sport of freestyle motocross, and he continues on riding today. The oldest rider with the most approved, Homan is a total wild card in this competition. Riot stands for Russia's International Off-Road Tournament, and Riot Dubai is the 3rd one of its kind. The original Riot took place in the desert of Southern California. It was here where Jeremy Stenberg threw the first ever backflip in a true natural terrain environment.
Yeah, FMX Riot's basically about the riders making the rules. We find the hits, we decide what's difficult, what's not. No ramps.
The obvious difference between free riding and freestyle is the lack of ramps, man-made ramps. This is all naturel, baby. This is God's country, and this is kind of where freestyle actually originated, so it all starts right here.
Natural terrain is what Riot is all about. Mike Metzger was crowned the first Riot champion and took his charge into Riot 2, held in the mud hills of southern Utah.
FMX Riot, I believe, was the first to kind of do this, go out to the hills, go out to the desert, no ramps, no machines, and just let the riders do their thing, and then at the end of the day, the riders judge.
Another unique twist to Riot is that the contest is completely rider judged, and the outcome of Riot 2 saw Dustin Miller voted the winner.
They know better than any judge. They know better than some guy that thinks they can ride or some guy that's a snowboarder that's a judge. That's usually who we get up in the panel. And it's pretty easy to be judgmental, but once you're out there on the same hit, that's the vote. You can't really bitch about it.
Now with Riot 3, a largely new cast of characters have traveled halfway around the world to put fresh tracks on a completely virgin riding area. Welcome to Dubai.
Yesterday we went out and scouted some terrain. We tested out the sand and everything. We actually rode with stock tires just to see if it would work or not. And it went pretty well, but we opted to go with the paddle tire. It grabs and scoops the sand more and it keeps it going. And it allows the tire to stay on top of the sand, where the knobbies, they kind of tend to dig down and you don't get as much momentum.
In a place where the locals run on 4 feet instead of 4 strokes, and the sand is more mountains than dunes, lies an empty paradise in the middle of the Arabian subcontinent.
All right, riders, I'd like to welcome you all to Dubai. The sand dunes out here are great, perfect for what we do best, riding dirt bikes, getting big air. This is Riot 3. You guys know the rules. There's pretty much no rules. Just go out and find the biggest jumps as possible. We'll be reviewing the tapes at the end of the day to decide who is the winner. It's pretty simple. Just stay safe, stay together, and have fun.
The Riot crew wasted no time, as several jumps had been scouted and found during a brief morning warm-up session.
Right off the bat, we found this jump right over the hill. It was like probably 100 feet, third gear tap.
It was kind of like down a hill, and there was like a drop off, and then like another little speed roll, and then like I think it was third gear we were hitting tabletop. But by the end of the filming, it was like a rut from like where I was starting all the way off the jump, and then I was like landing in another rut and taking off. So it's kind of cool, like, you know, just kind of use like some old school racer stuff and just jump, stay in the rut, and then you can kind of get like a little whip off it. So that was definitely fun.
Yeah, there were some tricks thrown today. I saw Renner doing tricks early off the bat, so I'm like, I'm not gonna let him take it this easy, you know? And he's coming off a win from Ride to the Hills, so I think he wants to win this thing, so a lot of us don't want him to, so. But we're judging, so he really can't win.
Actually, I'm pretty impressed. You know, I've never ridden on the dunes before for more than like 10 minutes. Never jumped on the dunes, so riding a 450, not really my bike of choice for freestyle, but I'm out here having fun. I saw Renner hit it up and Potter, so, you know, I can't let those guys one-up me. They just went out there and hit it, and before you know it, it's like everything else. You gotta be aggressive. You can't halfway do it, you just gotta charge it, and once I started charging it, it's having fun. Starting to pull some tricks off.
Stepping it up today is for sure Homan, Justin Homan. I don't think he's ever been in the dunes yet, and he's hitting everything. He's doing good, you know. And it's hard. I mean, these are 5 good guys, you know. So you see one guy do it, you want to do it too. So I think we're all kind of stepping up together.
Pretty stoked to get a brand new 450. I knew I was probably going to ride a 450 out here, so I practiced at home for about 2 or 3 days on a 450, cut out some grab holds and tried to freestyle it. So, you know, I actually practiced up, and I want to put on the best show I can out here, so it's turning out good.
I thought it was going to be full of AK-47s and SWAT team tanks. No, it's just us.
You got Mike Mason, who's super technical, but at the same time goes big. And when he's on, he's hard to beat. You know, he's proven that on the ramps. He's proven that in the natural stuff.
Mason's probably one of the sickest guys on a dirt bike right now.
He's probably the smoothest out here, I think, just in my opinion, out of the riders.
Name is Mike Mason from Carson City, Nevada. Yeah, riding in the sand is totally different than riding anything else. And I have had to relearn how to ride kind of when I come out here. Because when I ride freestyle or even at a track, I like to hold myself real far forward, you know, and up on the bars. And it's like you get out here and the first couple times I'm riding, I'm real up far forward and you like hit some air pocket and you're kind of sinking. And then, you know, when you're G'ing out into a lip that's all soft and powdery, you can't be over the front of the bike. It's just too much weight on the front end for how thick the sand is. You know, just grab your front end and spit you right off. Like, I still have to tell myself as I'm riding, stay on the back when I'm cruising around or hitting a jump, just ride a little further back. All day I've been searching for little hips and little, like, I guess it'd be third gear in the dunes because it's just so different of the dirt, but just little hips, and then, you know, Renner's finding big fifth gear launching jumps, and that's what's cool about searching is seeing what style of jumps the riders look for. And I think that's half the game in any natural terrain contest is who can find the funnest jump. So I'll try to find a good steep dune and then I'll roll up to the top of it and right away I'll just kind of scan the area and see if I can find, you know, a hip either way or even just a straight double. It's fun, you know, there's so many possibilities out here. You just gotta be patient with it and the jumps will come.
As the first official contest day wore along, one rider seemed to be pushing harder, looking to send a message. Renner was like a kid who just couldn't say no, hitting everything from small hips to long gaps. And by mid-afternoon, he had discovered the biggest jump of the day.
Renner, of course, hit a pretty big gap. It was like more of a tabletop, kind of a hard landing. A lot of us didn't really feel like landing hard, but you got to give it to him for going for it.
It's about $150, $160. Pretty good. Depends on how far you go, but the farther you go, the better the landing is. Fifth gear. Good work, Renner. You're killing it, bud. Looks like day one's wrapped up here, Riot 3. The sun's kind of hiding behind the clouds and stealing a little light from us, but I think we had a pretty good day, a lot of good jumps, and I think everybody's pretty healthy, so it's a good start. And judging is gonna be tough because everybody rode really good, but who cares? We're having fun in Dubai. What up?
Well, we have to do some judging. What are you guys looking for on judging for today against your fellow riders?
I think it's style, so Renner's hurt.
I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Tricks, finding them,
that was, you know, that's
hitting all of them.
Holman, what do you think? It's your first Riot.
Yeah, I think finding the hits is part of it, but then, you know, guys who can pull tricks off the same hits.
And you gotta have style. You can't
right
just
on,
loop off of
I'll
it.
be over here. Right on, Todd. I'll be over here too.
All right.
I would say that we're gonna vote on combination of good jumps, good tricks. Which
rode the
tricks
best
aren't.
is
I
what
don't
you're
think
trying to
tricks are
say.
that important here because it's kind of hard to do tricks in the dunes and
Some of us don't
kind of
have
looks
gravel.
gooberish.
All right, well, it sounds like you guys pretty much figured out what you're looking for, so let's get the voting started so we can get into Dubai. Dave Butts is the man with the voting sheets here.
All right, basically vote 1 through 4. So do not vote for yourself, of course. 1 gets the highest points, 4 gets the lowest points. At the end of 3 days, the highest points wins. Pretty simple.
All right, the votes have been tallied. Dave, what do you have for us?
All right, here we go. In 5th place, Lusk with 11 points. 4th place, be Mason with 13 points. 3rd place, Holman, 15 points. And in 2nd place, Potter, 17 points. So that leaves Renner 19 points. It's pretty close, so next 2 days, anything can change. Good work, guys.
Ronnie Who's Your Daddy Renner takes the win for the first day of competition. Holman looking good in 3rd place, while Mason and Lusk seem to be feeling the jet lag and were off to a slow start. The big surprise of the day was Todd Potter, tricking his way to a 2nd place result. Potter is a young rider with huge potential, and here's a deeper look at the man from San Clemente representing the Metal Militia.
Todd Potter on the first day was killing it. He tricked 2 or 3 of the hits. He always looks good, just does little turn downs. He's got the style factor, I think. Whether he's doing a trick or not, he's just got good form and good style, and he throws the bike around. To me, that adds points for him because he just looks like a good, sick rider, like he's racing, he's really pushing the bike.
Todd Potter, 22 years old, and I'm out of Temecula, California. Freeriding's cool because the creativity of it all. 5 guys come out here and just go out to one area and find like 15 jumps in one little area, and they all got their own little abilities, and I think natural talent really comes through on that, and you can see kind of where people are going with their riding ability. It's definitely my favorite kind of riding. The whole reason I got into freestyle is because I kind of just like doing tricks. After I jumped the jump, I was like, that's cool. Now what can I do over the jump? Definitely when I come out here, I'm the same attitude. I'm like, if I jump it, can I trick it? What kind of tricks can I do? So to do tricks, I think it's one of the hardest things to do out here, really. So kind of some of the guys that are throwing tricks, I'm kind of rewarding that. You're trying to go above and beyond of just jumping it.
With the first of 3 competition stages wrapped for the night, the crew hit the highway for an hour-long journey back into the chaos of Dubai proper. After a struggle through traffic and a quick look around the city that has been dubbed more elaborate and flashier than Las Vegas, the crew decided to trek downtown in search of the local ski hill.
We went to this indoor snowboard park in the mall. It's called Ski Dubai. It was actually a lot of fun. It was indoor. They have a ski lift going to the top.
Really unique deal. Out in the middle of the desert, it gets almost unbearable temperatures. I'm snowboarding, so can't really complain about that.
It's all about the logo placement.
I got more concussions snowboarding in the last 5 years than I do motoing, so figure out where to start wearing a helmet.
My favorite part of the whole day was roosting on Renner. You'll see it. I'll probably back it up with a clip right now.
Tuck it, Todd!
After a luxurious night's sleep in the famed city of Dubai, the Riot crew set off to explore yet another unknown riding locale.
At the mix, Riot, day 2 in the dunes.
For the second day of competition, the crew departed in a new direction. Following the lead of a local British rider, the caravan traveled south for over an hour, where they emerged on a dusty dirt road that led to an entirely new run of dunes.
This road that leads to nowhere, I'm mining the ground.
Okay, here we're in a different location today. This is called Maleha area. A resident expert on this is going to be James, and he'll describe some of the area for you real quick. James, what you got?
You've got a section in the middle here between these mountains and a big pocket on the left-hand side. There's a couple of deep bowls in between, but you've got to watch over in this area because there's a couple of actual hidden rock areas. You'll come over a dune and there's like big rocks formed. So these are the main ones just to watch out for.
Despite being a bluebird day, it had been pouring rain all night, and on this morning, the dunes quickly began to rut, creating tricky takeoffs and sketchy landings.
Cruised out for a couple minutes, and I think we found a couple jumps already. Obviously, you gotta test it out and see how good the landing's gonna be, because you know what happens, the rain gets in here, and where it was soft before, it looks hard still, but it's really soft, and your tires sink a lot, so we'll feel it out. I'm pretty optimistic, though. I think it's gonna be okay.
The wet dunes actually feel like you get more traction, but everybody's concerned with when you land sticking in and going over the bars. So I don't know, I'm kind of a rookie at this, but so far it looks good, ready to hit it up.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. Renner just found a pre-setup jump too to gain speed into it. You're gonna watch him pop right up over the hill where Potter and Homan are at. Woo! I knew it was big. Lusk hit it first. I think Renner's gonna have the key lined up once he lines up that step-up jump into it, because he's gonna be able to carry his speed a little bit better.
So shall I penetrate your warmth, or shall I just lay beside you, or inside you, yeah, yeah.
It's scary out here though, dude. They took us way off the main road out of the cities, and you know, I was wondering if I should call my mom and tell her, you know, I miss her and I'm not gonna be around no more. But we're good. We ended up out in a new spot. I think it was like an hour out of the city of Dubai, and it's awesome, man. It's got some good rolling dunes, which is funner. You know, you can actually get like the real doubles instead of just tabletops and stuff. So it's gonna be good. Both my wrists are vibrating now.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, it's like you think you got it, you know, like, I got it, and then when I hit this dirt and gas, it's all, oh. And
I checked fourth, and fourth wasn't even close to having it on this bike.
Yeah, and it's like, once you're committed, you can't back out of it, so it's, I tried my hardest.
I know you're not the type to start a fight, so baby, let's get
I didn't have a track in my backyard before. I had to go out to the rock dunes and rock piles and make your own track. So, I mean, this is what the Riot tour is all about. It's just going out there and finding hits that aren't really supposed to be hits and making something happen.
It's the biggest jump today because I'm third taps. And I keep landing a little short, but it's easily 120 plus, I guess.
After riding for a solid 5 hours, the crew, exhausted, decided to call it done for the day and pinned it back to camp. That is the crew minus Ronnie Renner. Renner, a true, natural-born dirt biker, just could not get enough. Maybe the footage would help him in his quest to be the Riot champion, or maybe he was just out to have some fun. So while the other riders were changing out of their gear, Renner was soaring into the late Arabian afternoon. Unfortunately, the other riders would not be around to witness this epic session, and only the footage would tell the tale. But Renner did not seem to care. He was just out for the pure joy of free riding.
I'm having too much fun. I don't want to go freaking undress. I'm a little tired, but I'm only here one more day, so it doesn't really matter, because if the guys aren't with you and don't see you, they're not going to vote for you. So this is all for fun. I don't think I'm going to win today's, because all the cool stuff I found, not everybody saw and did, so it's kind of my issue from the other day, is they said that I wasn't hanging out, which I was trying to hang out, but when you're hanging out, you don't really, like, when you're too close to everybody, it's hard to find stuff, because somebody else will find it before you, or it's just hard to look when somebody's jumping right across where you might want to find a jump. So every time, as soon as I go out on my own a little, I find cool stuff, but I don't know, they were all set on doing these big gaps today, which I did every jump that they did. So I hope that gives me credibility. I don't know, not really worried about it, having fun.
Alright guys, we're wrapping up day 2 of FMX Riot 3. When we rolled out to the dunes today, we were a little skeptical on the terrain and the conditions of the sand dunes. Potter, tell me what you thought about the terrain.
Yeah, I thought it was really wet and it was really sloppy, and I don't know, but all the guys did like a nice job with it. Everybody had their good parts about it. Like Homan was doing tricks, Renner was doing whips, Lusk was hitting all the jumps, Mason had a couple cool jumps.
There's like a little more variety of stuff. Like the first day we were just kind of stuck in one area with a bunch of jumps, and today there was like a huge area of all kinds of stuff, and everyone was riding good. And I don't know, I think the energy was just better today.
I personally liked how the dunes kind of had a little bit more of the rhythm section aspect to it. We were finding jumps that were back to back.
They were pretty technical, like smaller landings definitely than the first day, and you could link, you know, they weren't big jumps, but a little 40-foot into a 50-foot and then link them into the big jump.
Renner came out, you were finding the big jumps as usual, charging it pretty hard. What'd you think?
Probably not as good as the first day, but they had a couple jumps on those 450s. I was sweating on the 250, but I guess pulled it, so that was cool. But not really a good trick day for me. It was a little squirrely, and just everything you could get to get over some of the jumps, so that was tough. And the first set of dunes actually fit my style better, and just tried to enjoy myself today, and it was fun watching everybody ride. Everybody was crushing it and going big.
I think the wet sand kind of held the lips up a little bit better, but it seemed to be getting really sloppy on the run-ins, and that's where you guys were losing your speed and coming up short, which a lot of you guys were at the end.
Tell me about it.
I know.
The Riot crew intently watched the playback of the video from the day's session. Every worthy jump was rewound and shown over and over to ensure each judge could accurately evaluate the day's competition.
Okay, results are in, here we go. Today's totals, day only. 5th place, Potter with 11 points. 4th place, Mace, 15 points. We have a tie for 2nd between Homan and Renner with 16 points, which leaves Lusk, the winner of the day, with 19 points.
Wow. Jeremy Lusk was voted the top rider of the day. Young and looking to prove himself, Lusk is beginning to step it up. The overall points after 2 days, Lusk jumps to 3rd place and Renner retains his lead slightly over Justin Homan. Thus far, Homan has been the big surprise. We said it before, he is truly an original freestyler. Homan has ridden every type of FMX event for over a decade. Now can he take the win here at Riot 3?
When I first started watching freestyle, Homan was one of the guys doing it. this was his first contest in a long time, and he's been killing it the whole time.
Obviously got balls of steel, you know, he's almost broke himself off and been paralyzed, and he's still out here winging it.
I remember watching Homan when I was like 14. I remember seeing Homan out there when they didn't even have ramps. They'd just build dirt courses.
He showed up the first day and was hitting everything and tricking everything. And I think he's having a lot of fun, and it's cool to see guys having fun on the dirt bikes.
Where we are free, so very free.
My name's Justin Homan. I'm from Bend, Oregon. To me, it's about having time on the bike. I want to ride until either my body's hurt or my hands hurt and I can't hold on anymore. So the opportunity to be here, I took some extra vacation. I actually borrowed vacation days from the year from 2007 just so I could be here. I got out here, I was scared. I didn't know what to think. You got big gaps, it's sand. You don't really know how the sand reacts, so it's definitely a different ballgame than hitting ramps. You know, I learned quickly. I crashed today trying to cliffhanger. You got ramps, you got a real nice hard 12, 13-foot landing. You know, you watch video and our feet aren't even back to the pegs or our hands aren't even back to the bars. And you can get away with that when you're doing ramps, and that's the whole point of FMX Riot is no ramps. It's about skills. And when I went for the cliffhanger, my hands weren't all the way back. I didn't realize it, but like 10 minutes later, I was riding trying to find some new hits, and like my left side of my my vision was bad, and I saw stars, so. But that's just in me. I want to be out here and ride. I'm not going to quit if I crash. I probably should have taken a breather, but everybody's riding, finding hits, and I just, you know, I'm stoked to be out here on a bike, so. I want to be out here because I'm worthy. I want to be out here because I'm pushing it and I'm in the mix. I had a really bad injury where I paralyzed my leg for 2 years. I didn't even really get to ride at all. I had no feeling. I couldn't shift a bike. Couldn't even feel that my foot was on a peg. But nowadays, I can crank it with my knee, or I just go into the corner in third and have to clutch it extra. So I don't see it as a handicap. Once those injuries or my age becomes a handicap, I'm going to quit. Now, 2 days under my belt, I'm wanting to hit some bigger stuff, and I'm feeling that I'm actually up in the mix, can take a top 3 spot, no problem.
If we all just unite.
They say it never rains in the desert. Ironically, the final day of Riot got off to a soggy start.
As you can see, we're getting ready to go ride. It's a little bit rainy outside. Actually, it's record rainfall for the country right now going on. I think they're going to be bringing back the dirt bikers every year, keeping those thirsty camels hydrated. Everybody's stoked.
It's already wet out there, and this ain't helping anything. I mean, if it stops raining, we can ride. I don't think it's going to be as good of footage and riding as the first couple days, but you know, we're going to go for it. That's what we do. We didn't come all the way here to say, oh, we're going to the hotels. So we'll go out, check it out, hope for the best.
At least it's not muddy.
Yeah, you can't make it muddy in the gym.
Yeah.
Or else I'd be roosting everybody.
Yeah, now that's going to happen anyways.
We're going to have a roost off?
Yeah.
It's day 3 of Riot 3. And it was pouring all morning. I didn't even really want to get out of bed, but it had to actually quit raining, let up a little bit, so we're gonna go make the best of it. It's our last day in Dubai, so that's it.
Luck of the gods. The rain stopped and the clouds even seemed to part as the final day of Riot 3 quickly got underway. It was all thumbs up from the locals as Renner and Homan stepped up for this, the showdown in Boomtown. Renner was in the lead and determined to close out his win convincingly, but to everyone's surprise, the man on his heels in second was the hungry veteran, Justin Homan. Renner thought it would be easy. Now he was faced with a battle.
It's not bad. Like, I was scared without a paddle because yesterday when it was wet, me and Lusk weren't going anywhere. I mean, it's our own fault. We had the option, we just didn't do it, but it's good out here. It's just like riding like a real wet track, so.
Todd Potter wasn't going to win, but he was going to go down swinging. And this trick throwing machine proved he can huck a double grab off of anything. Like Potter, Jeremy Lusk is a talented young rider at 22. Lusk exploded onto the FMX contest scene last year and is regarded as a top prospect in the sport. Watch out. With more practice, this guy could become the man to beat.
Jeremy Lusk, he's kind of the new guy that's got the whole package as well. He's smooth, he's got good tricks, he's got it all. He's got the balls to do stuff.
Jeremy Lusk from San Diego, California. Started riding a bike when I was 3 years old. Had a little PW50. We had a super long hallway in my house, and my dad threw me down the hallway until I got my balance. The key out in the dunes is trying to find a smooth runway. In order to jump the big jump that we found, sometimes you could link 3 or 4 jumps into it, kind of preset yourself up, like a double-double kind of, and get the speed for the big jump. It's just better out here because the lips are steeper, way steeper, and it's a lot more like technical, like you actually got to double stuff. It's not just like, long tabletops. There's actually, you got to actually have some timing out here. Totally different than just going to a regular contest and riding around in a figure 8, hitting a ramp, hitting man-made berms, and measured out runways. Out here, there's everything's natural, so you just gotta, try and find which way you can get your speed, and hopefully it's enough to get you over the gap.
The Riot crew scrambled as the clocks ticked down towards the dreaded 24-hour plane ride back to reality. As their flight was less than 8 hours away, everyone wanted one last roost through the stunning red sands of Arabia. Mike Mason came into this event as the man expected to battle Renner. But somehow things did not gel on a consistent basis in the Riot comp. But he did find this hit, which seemed to launch him halfway back to his hometown in Reno.
The first time I hit it, it was pretty far, so I gassed it and I was like hanging over the landing for about 5 seconds, it felt like. Thought I was just gonna land and stick because the dirt's so soft, but we pulled out of it. Thank God. When you're hanging above the ground for so long and you know the dirt's soft, that so much stuff goes through your head, like, I seriously thought I was gonna stick when I landed. And that's the last thing I wanna do out here in Dubai is stick and go face first into the ground, so. But we pulled her. Magnificent. I might make my flight home still. Thank God.
They came, they rode, and they conquered. Riot would leave its mark on the desert of Dubai. But there was one rider in particular who came to prove a point. He prides his natural freeriding talent, and he has positioned himself as the man to beat in this hardcore sport.
My name's Ronnie Renner from Long Beach, California.
You think he's like 15 years old because he rides all day. He doesn't stop. Like, we'll all stop, get a drink, eat lunch, whatever. He's just going. Like, we were all out of our gear and loaded up, and he was still riding.
It's kind of my goal to be one of the best known free riders, and I've held my own and ran my own program, being the entertainer guy at the same time having pretty good tricks, but this is something that I take a lot more pride in being decent at because it's just me, the bike, the hills, and being out there with your buddies riding. The whole trip's a plus, you know? I mean, just the fact that we got the opportunity to do this, not really go broke doing it, take a risk, you know? It was a big risk, I think, for the whole crew to come out here and not really know if we're gonna find jumps and not know how the weather was gonna be and not know how the government was gonna be. So just the fact that we actually have pretty much almost pulled it off is pretty damn cool.
All right, guys, we're wrapping up Riot 3 out here in the dunes of Dubai. It was an epic day again. Started out a little sketchy with the weather, but you guys came out swinging, finding big jumps. I know, Potter, your day didn't start out too good. You kind of had some problems. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I actually, I don't think my bike's jetted like home, so saw the spark plug right out of camp, pushed it back, and then I just didn't really feel it, but I went out and made the best of it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Renner, you're charging all day as usual. You probably hit 100 dune jumps out there. What's your secret to finding dune jumps?
Just ride all day and run out of gas. So people have to bring you gas, and it gets the camera guys out there bringing you gas. And it's like, oh, got a shot right here. So I don't know, just have fun. And today wasn't really nothing special, just finding little technical things, going big, as Homan might have shown.
Yeah, for sure, Homan. I caught the very end of it. I heard the panic rev, and I looked over, and you were hitting probably the biggest jump of Riot 3. You want to talk about it?
Sure, I was just trying to one-up myself, I guess. I crashed a bunch yesterday and just wanted to find a double-double line. I was hurting last night. I hopped on the bike. It felt like I had some energy. My hip wasn't hurting. It's usually how it works. Once I throw the leg over the bike, I'm pretty stoked. And found some good doubles and just saw the next hit lined up, and I knew it was big, so I thought I'd go for it. Came up about 10 feet short. Luckily, it wasn't 20 feet short. I probably wouldn't be here right now, but I don't know, I thought about jumping off and decided to hang it out, and I was like, man, I'm probably gonna break something, but I didn't really pull it, but I stayed on 2 wheels and then dished it out. So it was a different day. We had fun. I think the criteria, you know, some guys were out there all day, some guys found a bunch of hits, some were techie, some were step downs, and I guess I was going for some of the big hits and something that, you know, had the danger element to it.
All right, guys, well, I think we're all ready to get out of here, so let's get the voting done.
The final judging session for all the money, the glory, and the bragging rights of being the winner of the first ever free ride competition held in the Middle East. Coming into this final day, Lusk and Homan are the only 2 ones with a chance to catch Renner. The 2 are also in a tight 1-point battle for second place. Potter and Mason will fight to stay out of the cellar.
All right, Dave finally tallied up the scores for Riot 3, so let's find out who won this thing.
Okay, Potter did not. He's in 5th place with 40 points. Lusk is just above him with 42 points in 4th place.
It's all right, you're a baby.
Mason's right in the middle where he likes to be, 44 points. That means Mr. Crash himself, Homan's 47 points, 2nd place.
Keeping it real, though.
The robot Renner takes the win, 1st place. Riot 3. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Get paid by the robot there.
Let's see the word.
Come on, word, Renner. You won.
I don't want word. Oh my goodness.
Look at the crap out of me on cruise.
Word. Renner jacked it up.
Hey, he's on here. That's right. Under his feet off it.
The final results of Riot 3, and to no surprise, Ronnie Renner is voted the winner. But the big surprise was Justin Homan stepping up to 2nd place.
Homan, I think, was the most impressive to me because he don't even do this stuff, you know? I mean, this is something I pride myself in being my career. And Homan, you know, he's smarter than all of us. He has a real job. He was hucking gaps that I didn't have no desire to be doing. I was like, I don't think we're gonna make that, and he didn't make it. It's basically a pride thing and just an opportunity to come out here and ride in Dubai. Who else can say they did that? There's 5 of us. I think they picked a great group of guys. When the day's over and the sun right there goes down, I think we're all 5 happy dudes.
Riot is a contest with no equal, as Dubai is a place like no other. From the wild camels and the endless sea of red sand to the unique Bedouin culture and the friendly, smiling locals, this one-of-a-kind group has left an unforgettable mark in the shifting sands of time.
Staring at the sea, staring
pumped that I got to see this. It'd be cool someday when I'm older to say that I got to travel over here and to even ride a dirt bike with 5 of my buddies at the same time. So it's been a good trip, and I'm really glad I got to see this part of the world.